Hi, Karen. Happy August 8th. Thank you so much for doing 2 in one day.
Of course. Happy August 8th to you. It is an auspicious day if you believe that 8s are lucky numbers.
Ooh, that's so true. That's true. 8822.
Oh.
Interesting.
We should have Googled if that means something, but if it means something to you, listeners, for those of you who celebrate, happy 8/8.
Yeah,
22.
I do remember. I remember talking to people who I had so many people in my life that got married at 888. Like it, not so
Oh.
many people, but like, or it's like maybe they got married at 2222, or like
Oh, yes.
people get really into numerology stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be considered numerology, but no, numbers.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have someone in my life who really wanted to get married on 10-10-10.
Oh yeah.
And like was engaged to someone. It didn't work out. And they just like swapped in a new fiance to make sure that they could get married on 10-10.
You are not even joking. Seriously?
Yeah, I think that I'm pretty sure that's true. I'd have to go back and look to like verify the exact wedding date, but I'm thinking of this person and I feel like they were engaged to someone. And then like the next thing I knew, they had like swapped in a new groom.
And did they get married on 10-10-10? Or at least
I believe they did.
Oh my gosh. I mean, talk about a commitment, like commitment to the number. Because seriously, I mean, I guess there are some people who really care about what their wedding anniversary is or their whatever it is, but like I don't know. I mean, good for them, I guess. That no shade on them, but wow, that's a real that is real commitment to just swap out a new fiance. Just there was one in the wings on standby, maybe. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, you always got to have one, right?
Yeah,
just on deck. Just on deck.
It's like in the movies when people are like really they're friends with someone that they're attracted to, but they've never actually been with that person, and then they're like, when we're 97, if we're not married, we're gonna be yeah, it's one of those. Maybe that's the on deck person.
That hits a little close to home right now, Katie, but it's okay.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Oh, you are far from 97.
No, I know, but I feel like given some things happening in my personal life that we're friends and now we're just gonna date. It's hitting a little, it's hitting today.
A little close.
Jesus.
Yes.
I will also say really briefly about the whole number thing. I think it's also interesting that now people schedule C-sections. I mean, a lot of people who had C-sections for their first child have to have but you can't have a VBAC or whatever. So schedule the C-section the second time and like we'll choose a date, like an attractive date, right?
That's
like,
so true. That is so true. Okay, so this is interesting, and I don't mean this to be in any way offensive at all. I'm just telling the story of a friend of mine who grew up in India, is Hindu, and I think the birth of her first child, she told me a long time ago, the birth of her first child was already predestined when she was born. Like she was told when it was going to be, and then it was.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, and the same thing with the birth, not the birth, but the her wedding date was also predetermined. And I was with the wedding date, I was like, okay, well, you can kind of, I wasn't trying to be in any way disrespectful, but I was like, you can decide when that is, like, you can't really decide exactly, like it wasn't a C-section and for the birth, but anyway, it was interesting. Like I just wonder about numbers and dates, and it would be fun to have like a numbers person on this to like blow our mind, because like I have had friends that have like said, add up the first 4 numbers of whatever, and then the person that and then whatever the number is, it's like that determines something. You know what I mean?
Ooh, listeners, if you know a numerology person, hit us up.
Yeah, I mean, that would be really fun.
That would be really cool.
It would be really cool.
We should also get tarot readings on here.
Oh my God, fuck yeah. Oh my God, I'm so here for that, Karen. Seriously.
Oh my God.
That lit me up. Seriously. Oh my God. Tarot readings like next week. Seriously, that would be amazing. We could also have like a call-in show where like, I mean, we would have to organize it. So we would have like a certain number of people calling in, listeners, if you're interested in calling in on our pre-recorded show, that's definitely
Right.
not going to be live, we could organize that. Oh my God. And then the tarot person could just do the tarot reading on Zoom.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes. I also would be open to doing psychic readings.
Oh, God.
I don't know if I'm not open to it personally, but I'd be open to watching her do it to someone else. That
Fair.
sounds pretty bad. Yeah.
Fair. Mhm.
I don't know. I've been really afraid of of psychics ever since I was in college. This is a random tangent, but here we are. So I went with a bunch of my high school friends on a like holiday break or something to Chicago. We took the train from Michigan into Chicago, and my friend Emily saw this psychic place. I don't know what neighborhood it was in because I hadn't lived there yet. But anyway, and she was like, "Hey, everybody, I want to go get my, psychic reading." And we're like, "Oh, that's great." And so she went to the psychic and she came out and we're like, "Tell us everything, obviously." And she's like, "Yeah, it was kind of weird. Apparently the psychic was like, you need to ask me a question, Emily. Like, what is a question that has been burning in your heart?" And she was like, "Well, I would really love to know what is the role that art is going to have in my life." Because she is
Oh,
this like unbelievable artist. And she didn't go into art. She does something totally different. But anyway, and the psychic went on this whole long thing about how art is going to be the man that she marries, and like
what?
art is like, right, because I think the psychic thought she was talking about a man named Art. And so
Come on
like
now.
and so it's like kind of a running joke with my friends that like, I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny. And so anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not to say, I mean, maybe that psychic was, maybe I mean, she's married to a really nice man, but you never know. Maybe it'll be her second or third marriage that she'll get married to a guy named Art. you know, Dreams can come true, or psychic readings can come true. I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how we got on that. Anyway, yes, but we're open to this. That would be so much fun. Seriously, I would love that.
Same. I know we're doing
Love
it. We're definitely doing it.
Yes.
Okay. In the spirit of the sleeveless segue.
Yes, always. Yes. I have the idea based on really nothing, but also based on just my personal beliefs. That the topic today, I really am excited about talking about giving ourselves permission to change our minds whenever the hell we want. So, like, I think this is coming up for me because, you know, I don't know how do I articulate this? Like, I really feel like in our society, there's, people talk about how someone is, maybe their personality, or, like, oh well, she's like this or he's like this, or he was going to do this with his life and he changed course, and why would he ever change course, or why would she ever change course, or like she changed her careers completely in the middle of whatever. And I just feel like that should be normalized, and it doesn't even have to be something that big. I mean, for me, for example, I do not like mushrooms. Not a fan. Never been. Hate. It's a texture disaster for me. I don't care how they're cooked. Not fun. I will say that I'll have like a sliver of a mushroom if it's on a pizza, but whatever. I always make concessions for pizza things except for meat. Anyway, sidebar. So I could one day say I like mushrooms. I don't know. And I guarantee you, conservatively, 10 people in my life would have an issue with that.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
like for real, because I have made such a fucking stink, Karen, about hating mushrooms. And so many people have made me food without mushrooms and like gone to great lengths not to have any mushrooms. And they'd be like, now? Really? Now? And it's like, I mean, life is long, if you're lucky. Mushrooms
I
can
mean,
change. I can change my mind.
that is a mic drop. Life is long if you're lucky. I love that.
Yeah. I can change my tastes,
Well,
buds.
and I don't know if this is an old wives' tale, but every 7 years, a woman's body chemistry changes. And so you should retry foods that you didn't like in the past, or retry anything physically that you didn't like because your body chemistry has shifted.
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
That definitely gives you a pass for anything.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I also think it doesn't make you indecisive to change your mind,
Yes.
that you can be steeped in this decision that you've made and get new information, or the wind changes, or your estrogen levels drop, or whatever happens. Like, You can just decide like, okay, based on what I now know or feel or think, I'm going to do this other thing.
Yes. Yes. And everyone else be damned, honestly. I mean, as long as you're not hurting anybody, obviously. I mean, really, other people, I think the thing is that in some situations, I can only speak for myself, but I might stick with things based on the reaction that I get if I changed the thing.
Ooh.
I hate admitting that. And I can't really back it up right now. So I don't know if it's entirely true, but I think it is. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think we've all stayed in situations too long because we didn't want to deal with the consequences of making a change.
Yes. Oh, good. That's a mic drop. That's so uncomfortable.
Ooh, yeah.
Coming in hot for the mini pod. Yeah. In a lot of situations, not just in the romantic sense, but in
Yeah.
the just anything. Yeah. I don't know. And sometimes it's hard to change. I mean, always in my case, I feel like it's hard to change, but sometimes it's harder to stay the same. So,
Yeah. And I mean, we've talked so much about coming out of this experience of the last 2.5 years as completely different people and trying to figure out who we are now. Maybe you like mushrooms now.
maybe I do. Maybe I should also try mushrooms. Like, if you know what I mean, which I have never tried. Although maybe they taste the same. I don't actually know. And then I would hate them. But maybe if I was that high, I wouldn't give a shit. So,
True.
yeah, I just think it's nice to remind ourselves that we can change our minds and it's okay. And there's nothing wrong with us, no matter what it is, truly. And like sometimes it can be changing your mind about something really big, like a person and how they're impacting your life. And maybe that person is not the right person at that time in your life. And it's okay.
Seasons change and people change, and it's okay. And not everything is meant to last forever. And I think when I think about changing my mind or changing course, it's about things that I feel like have defined me.
Mm,
Like I've left journalism multiple times, and I feel like it was difficult every time. And it was most difficult when I felt like I was in a job where I was completely defined by being that thing.
yeah.
And which is why I really try not to tie my identity to things like that anymore. But yeah, like it's okay to not be that person anymore.
Yes. Yes. And you'll find your way. Like,
Yeah.
that's a good reminder. I love that example. And I can think of people in my life that are going through transitions in terms of like big life things. And it's like, who are they if they're not this? Or who are they if they're not, if they aren't defined by a certain thing? And it's like, we're more than the things that are around us. Like, like we're worth everything just as we are standing, breathing, being.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And I will also say that the mind change can feel like it's happened very suddenly, but it's probably been building up in your system for a long time. And then it just feels like a decision gets made.
Yeah,
Like not that even that you've made the decision, but like, oh no, this is what's happening now. And it can feel very sudden, but like I said, I feel like it just builds up in your system and you just need the timing to be right or whatever to be right to like get there.
totally. Totally. I love that. All right. Well, this is just scratching the surface on this topic, actually. I actually think it would be really awesome to even have someone on who talks about changing your mind or like the science, the brain science around that, or like how, I don't know. I'm open to it.
Same.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to the mini pod. We'll see you next week.